Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Les Miles, head coach from Louisiana State University. We have limited time with Coach, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into questions. First question right here, front row in the middle.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon, or good morning, rather. I'm curious if we could go back to the week of the Texas A&M game last week. What was that experience like for you and your family? And at any point during that time, did you ever feel like that you were about to be let go?
I never felt anything but attached to my team. I felt I communicated very effectively with the athletic director, and I felt very comfortable in the position that I was in. And we enjoy playing in that stadium. That stadium's got great expectations, and it's a spectacular group of people. And I've always enjoyed representing LSU, and for me to go to a game thinking anything differently would be just a mistake. So I've kind of always wanted to teach my kids and my family, my players and my family, the ability and wanting to compete. And I think that those people that have that don't look behind them; they just go like hell. And I think that's just kind of how we did it.
Left side in the back corner.
Coach, going through that experience last year, I mean, if anybody goes through something like that, I would think it has to change you in some way. Did you learn anything about yourself? Did it change you in any way going through that experience?
I've so enjoyed LSU, and I enjoy the community, I enjoy the state, I enjoy the school who I represent. I am not changed, nor was I changed by that event. I am attached to my team. I'm going to coach them. I'm going to coach them, and it's not going to ever change until which time they decide at some point in time, or maybe I decide, that we separate, okay? I can't see that, okay? It's a person whose path is forward and not backward. I have not seen where I've come from, only from where I'm going.
And Coach, there's been some suggestion in the national media, and again, that doesn't affect you, but I'd just like to address it, that maybe you've limited Cam Cameron just a little bit, his playbook. Is there any truth to that? And if so, will you let him go this season?
We have constantly allowed our playbook to be wide open, okay? And that the opportunity to throw the football is something that we relish. But we're going to do those things through a practice week and through a spring and through a fall that will allow us to look at to see what our advantages are. And we want to play our advantages. Certainly Leonard Fournette's going to get a number of carries. And we're going to have to see how this offense develops. You know, should Malachi Dupree and Travian Durrell come off with big years, I think you will have seen that we have thrown the football tremendously.
Left side here against the wall.
Wes Seiner with AL.com. Coach, there was some talk, obviously, from the Auburn side last season as they were getting ready for LSU about how they didn't feel it was going to be that hard to contain Leonard Fournette, and then he goes out and runs. I think he was averaging 12 yards a carry in that game, just a complete dominant performance. My question is, how determined was he to kind of just prove them wrong, and then what are you guys expecting out of Auburn and that defense, because they have their third coordinator in 3 years now?
I'm certain that Gus has done a great job changing, and making that his defense more, capable. I'm certain that we're looking forward to what would have always been and generally is always a tremendously competitive game with Auburn. He's always prepared that team extremely well, and we expect that on that, in that scheduled time, and we face that team, that they will give us everything that they have, and certainly we'll have to play our best to secure victory.
Right side here, front row.
Coach, you've coached a lot of great players and all. Where would you rate Forte as being one of your players and as a person too?
I like Leonard Fournette certainly as a player. He's with speed and size and strength. He's got a great balance. He's the guy that can get in front and then outrun you. I think there's a number of great players that come to mind on defense. It was Pat Peterson. Pat Peterson was a spectacular man and with great speed and ability. So, but now as a person, I just happen to pick two pretty good guys. Leonard Fournette's a great teammate. He's unselfish. He's only selfish as it pertains to what's best for the team. And then whatever's best for the team, that's what he wants to do. He's a very quality guy. Some of the other players, Tre'Davious White is a great leader and one of the really great young people that I've been around. Kendall Beckwith, same. So I've been fortunate. When you mentioned that I've coached some really good players, I have. And what's been best is that they've not only been good players, but really quality people.
Left side here, front row.
Coach, when it comes to Leonard, is there anything that necessarily surprises you with him anymore, or that you knew about him?
No, I think that I think Leonard Fournette is just, I think he's going to give everything he's got, period. If the hole is blocked for nothing, he's going to see if he can get you 5 to 7. And then if 5 to 7 doesn't happen, it's not Leonard's fault. I can tell you that. Okay, so if we can come together and get him some running room, he'll make those 5 to 7s turn into 57s.
Right side, third row on the aisle.
Hey, Les, Coach Aranda, how much did that Wisconsin game in Houston a couple years ago bring him onto your radar? And will the dynamics when you go up there this year be any different since he's playing the team he just left?
Yeah, we had a difficult time moving the football against Dave in the first half. I think we were down down 10, and the opportunity to come from behind and recognize, some of the things that he did to us was certainly very significant in my view. I also, did research and really interviewed a number of guys and realized that not only does he give you, a good standard front, but he has the ability to change up things and really you can play over, under, Okie, Bear. I mean, this is a defense that has the opportunity to put you in a position where you have difficulty. And Dave's a great teacher, and we really look forward. It has the idea that we open with his old school is not necessarily by design.
Left side, third row, black shirt.
Coach, it's been since 2011 since you guys have won the SEC West, and you guys are kind of expected to be one of the favorites this year. How do you kind of change that mindset with your team from, being the hunters to potentially being the hunted?
I really got mindset, and I realized that you were talking about being picked and how we're going to, I think our football team realizes that, and we've been, together long enough to know that you have to earn your way. And, we certainly start with a tremendously capable Wisconsin team, and then we play in the West. And, from Mississippi State to, right on through, it is a very competitive group of teams. And to win the West and then play in the championship certainly is the goal. But you understand something. It doesn't make any difference what anybody else says. It's all about how we practice, how we prepare, what you do in your seat, the job that you have to do, and who you are as a contributor to that team. And if we take that seriously, if we do those things, I think we'll be in pretty good shape.
And then actually right next to him, third row, left side.
Hey, Coach. What would you feel about playing A&M yearly on Thanksgiving, not just whenever it's at A&M? And I know that's an AD decision at some point, but what are your thoughts on it? And also, do you see that game possibly becoming a staple rivalry game in years to come, with that being on the last week of the year?
A staple rivalry game, A&M certainly on Thanksgiving or
Thanksgiving, correct.
On Thanksgiving. Yeah, early games, early week games, kind of really, you know, if I can get to Friday at least, that's good. And if I can't get to Friday, I would just like to go to Saturday. Thanksgiving is always such a nice day to, you know, be able to chew your food and relax, as opposed to, you know, bounce out onto a football field and get after it, right? Okay. We have a great rivalry there. We have great respect for that A&M team, very talented team. I can't imagine it makes any difference when we play it. It's going to be a very, you know, contended, very, you know, difficult contest. So, did I answer your question? Okay, good.
We have time for 2 last questions. We'll start there, and then we'll finish right here in front.
Coach, what was your experience like on camera obscura, and how did you end up playing a police officer?
I didn't get the last part of that.
How did you end up with the role of the police officer?
How did you end up with the role of
With the role of a police officer.
Oh, and how did I end up with the role of police officer? Well, I tried for the romantic lead, and I didn't get it.
Last question right up here in the front.
It's a difficult piece for me to take the, you know, but honestly, it was a great experience. It's there's diversity to us, okay, and you know the want and the enjoyment to, you know, step outside the coach and for just a line, be a policeman, which was, you know, honestly, it was kind of difficult to do, you know. Yeah, I do. I certainly do. But I want to. Hey, listen, you have to see the movie. What a thing to say, huh? You got to see the movie. That line is, I mean, I just want you to know, step back. You, sir, step back.
Maybe an Academy Award.
So, just so you know.
Last question right here.
Coach, 2 years ago at Arkansas, you were shut out. Last year at halftime, some of your fans left, did not return to that game. Those 2 games against them, what have they done differently than what they had been doing in the previous to that?
They really played really well on defense. I thought that they had a nice scheme on offense. They could run it and throw it. You know, I think Allen was a great quarterback for them. And they had that quality running attack. That, you know, that big offensive line. Yeah, they were good. And defensively, they played that very, very quality zone, moved football, moved the defensive line. Yeah, they were very formidable.
All right, that's all we have time for. Thanks, Coach.